Welcome back to another video, guys. Today I'm going to be going over some of the settings that I have found to make the G29 actually drivable. I'm sure this will work if you have anything, what is it called on Xbox, the G290, I can't remember what it is called, but I have the G29 and they're the same. I'm sure this will work on Thrustmaster wheels too. I've never used a Thrustmaster wheel, so I'm not for sure, but it can't be that different. And basically what this is going to do, fresh down here as a configuration, is it's going to fix your wheel and make it so driving actually feels realistic. Some of the problems I ran into with my wheel beforehand is when I first got my wheel, I watched a video of this guy who showed like some setup, and I did his setup, and I haven't used my wheel very much, and I've had it for like 2 months, probably 3 months maybe, and I've used it probably 6 hours because it's so frustrating. And these things aren't cheap, like 300 upwards, and I just wanted to save you guys from if this is happening to you too. So some of the common things, like I was saying, is it'll wobble. When you're driving, your car will just start swinging across the road uncontrollably if you have your settings wrong, and your wheel will just start trying to turn and turn and turn, and the inertia is going to cause it to go past its turn point over and over again until basically you have your car just speed wobbling all over the place. And some of the other factors are if you filter your force feedback, it makes it so your force feedback is not pushing right, and you're just going completely off of. It's basically like if you just turned your force feedback off all completely, your wheel did not come back, and it would just stay if you turned it, but it always comes back, it would just stay. So here's some of the things I want to show you. First, 900 degrees of rotation. You can have 540 degrees, but I've just noticed that 900 degrees is a lot easier to drift with. Not really a racing rotation, but just drifting, it'll work amazingly. I also had my throttle at like 68 for some reason. I turned that all the way up to 100%. That made a big difference. Brakes, that made a huge difference. I don't have a handbrake, so that's not really a big thing. Your shifter, if you have a shifter, I don't. I just use the paddles on the back of my wheel. For secondary, I would suggest using this. I can't really show you guys, but I have my keyboard in a way where it's like angled off my desk, kind of overhanging, and I have my left control button as my handbrake. If I'm going into a set of turns and I'm not using a car that can so easily come back in and clutch kick on itself, then I just use the handbrake on my keyboard, and I also have one on my wheel, but it's really hard to use when I'm in the tight corners. My wheel's turning all over the place. And this is where the main comes in, okay? You want your steering settings to all be turned off, okay? All of them to be turned off. You want your gain to be 100%, no more, no less, okay? So when you're in game and you have your force feedback on, you want to just put your force feedback to 100. Filter, you want no filter. Now at first you might feel the spikes in your force feedback, but you'll get used to it, and you're going to want those spikes to be there to really tell you what's happening to your car as you're driving through the track. This was probably the biggest difference for me. After I removed that filter, there was no more swaying from my wheel, just making my car go all over the place and make it just completely undrivable. Curb effects, 10%, road effects, 5%, slip effects, 10%. Now you can turn the curb effects down to 5 if you want, but I like the juddering telling me that I'm not on the road personally. When I'm on like ribbon or something, I just definitely like that. You want to check combine with keyboard input if you opted to do the handbrake on your keyboard. That way you can have 2 separate handbrakes, and it will just make it a lot easier. And what else is here that we need to think about? I think that's pretty much it, man, except for the brakes. The brake gamma is really important because it depends on what pedals you are using. If you're using the stock pedals that come with the G29, G27, G29, G290, whatever it is for Xbox. Oh, it's the G920, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the G920. You want to have your brake gamma here or farther to the right. If you have a potentiometer pedals, I think is what they're called, which is pedals that fill pressure, you want to have this bar all the way to the left, so it's just like just a real even slope. And with the G29 or G920 pedals, you want to have it so it's scooped up like this in a ramp motion. 299 I found is good for me. And after that, you just want to make sure you have these two unchecked. You do not want understeer effect, and you do not want have force feedback update rate. Pretty sure, yeah, that's for people who have computers that can't run this game very well. And just save that configuration. I called it Rush, and you'll have your setup. Now, for your Logitech gaming setup, if you have the G29 or G920, you want to just put 900 degrees of rotation on, or whatever you're using, 540 degrees, so it's matching in game. And then what you want to do after that is you want to turn the centering spring off. You don't want a centering spring. And then just save that configuration, and you're good for the game. Now, if you guys notice any real differences or had trouble with your wheel beforehand and this helped, please leave a like below, because I haven't used my wheel for like 2 months, and I've been using it so much in the past couple days. Like, I'm pretty sure if I can, I can't open up my shift tab, but I do have a lot more hours accumulated when I only had like 6 hours. So yeah, like I said, leave a like, share this video with anybody who has a wheel who is confused on what they're doing and it's just frustrating them, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.